Welcome.
Welcome to Switching Reels.
I was going to say that. Howdy, everyone.
Howdy, everyone.
Yeah.
Howdy, everyone. Ahoy.
My name's Trenton.
My name is Conner.
Damn right it is. And we watched Ponyo today.
Yeah, we did. I don't want to be Conner. I like being Trenton.
Well, too bad. Some of us don't want to be Conner.
Oh, no. Conner, are you okay?
Doing great. We watched Ponyo today. A movie about not wanting to be yourself.
True, so badly that you grow legs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake of
her life. Minor spoilers for Ponyo at the beginning, apparently. Apologies.
It's not really a spoiler.
If you've seen any of the previews, you know she has legs.
If you've seen the cover art of some of the posters, you know she has legs.
It may be more of a spoiler to know that she didn't have legs at some point.
Again, really not a spoiler. When we meet Ponyo, she has no legs.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
Anyway.
We watched Ponyo today.
We did.
The 10th Miyazaki movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that he came out of retirement for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
This.
Also.
If you want to start placing. This one is actually going to knock Kiki's out.
Whoa.
Of S tier. Only because I've only got 3 slots for S tier.
Whoa.
And this is bottom of S, but it's still really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I think that I would probably put it above Castle in the Sky. So that is top of B tier for me.
But below Kiki's.
But below Kiki's.
Okay.
Below Spirited Away.
I think that is a reasonable place for it. For a reasonable person.
Nice. Oh, I can't wait to hear about your unreasonability in this one. This is gonna be
great.
No.
This one, I don't think that it's unreasonable. I think that this is just one of those movies that kind of, like, it speaks to my heart.
Yeah.
In ways that especially certain types of kids' movies really do. I have not been shy about my complete adoration for the Paddington movies.
I love them.
Yes, I think they are phenomenal. And I think that they are also, at times, cheesy and dumb. I don't think they always are, but I think they are at times. And, I see that and I go, it's fine. This is still a masterpiece.
Yes.
Like, it does enough right that I'm willing to, like, brush off some of the
things.
Yeah. This one, I don't necessarily feel like I have as much to brush off in that realm. I have some, like, this is a short movie.
Yeah.
With
a lot of
filler and sort of
but
like
also a lot of ramp.
Yeah. But there are just a lot of times where I'm like, okay, let's move it along. We don't need to be in this section of the story any longer.
Agreed.
But I don't care because I love it.
Oh, so good.
This is one of those. I'm gonna say strong 8 to a light 9 on this one. For enjoyment.
That makes total sense.
This one might be light 9 to a 10 for or strong 9 to a 10 for technical.
Nice. That's fantastic.
I think this is, as far as the two-dimensional animation goes for Studio Ghibli, I think this may be the best entry.
Some of it, yeah. Goodness gracious.
Like, the opening alone is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, hits you so well.
what Howl's Moving Castle did with the blending of 3D and 2D animation, this did while also cutting out the 3D.
Yeah, no, it did a very, very good job with that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. No, totally. So I'm going to put my enjoyment at a solid 8.
Okay.
And then I'd put my technical at a 8.5, like between 8 and 9, I think.
Okay.
What for reasons that we'll talk about after we.
Fair enough. Jump the spoiler wall.
Jump the spoiler wall.
Yeah.
You can jump. I'll take out my ladder.
Stop taking out the ladder. At this point, you may as well just install a gate and.
I get to do this once every 2 weeks, Connor. Sometimes every week.
Depending on how far behind we are.
Yeah. I'm going to have my ladder. He's a good guy. He just goes, you climb over.
Okay, you can have the ladder.
Thanks.
And then you can jump down the other side.
No, there is, it's on a wall, and so I just get to take the steps that are on the inside. As well.
That's not how, okay. That's not how all walls are.
That's true. But I made this
there
entire...
This is a room full of walls.
That is true.
Not a single stair.
But also no sky. And no parapet.
Yeah.
Which most walls have.
I don't think most walls have a parapet.
Most walls have a parapet. Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to Switching Reels again.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us. Please let us know what you do and don't like. We've got lots of good stuff going on here. And would love to improve it. Make it more fun for you guys. And genuinely have a good time. So send us comments. And post emails, things like that.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool.
Doing summaries first, or are we doing?
We can do summaries first.
Perfect.
Ponyo is to Disney's Little Mermaid what Disney's Little Mermaid is to the Hans Christian Andersen original Little Mermaid story.
Cool.
It's recognizable in a lot of the different things about it.
Yeah.
As the same story, but it has been vastly altered in order to tell pretty much a new story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my summary on this one.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
That's great. Ponyo is the story about a fish who's magic, who drinks some blood and is now human, and who falls in love with a 5-year-old because she's 5 as well, and you know how 5-year-olds are. And
always falling in love with each other.
Always falling in love with each other. And her mom happens to be a god. Her dad is a wacky scientist, and so she drinks the potion of the sea, which allows her to control the moon, obviously, and goes to find the boy she loves while causing a tsunami and rising tides across the planet on the side of the planet that she's on. Until
it is... Oh, sorry, continue.
She finds her mom again, and she's like, hey, do you want to be a human instead of this magic thing that's killing the world? She's like, yeah.
So I find it interesting that you have determined that her father was a scientist. Which I don't necessarily disagree with. I can see how you got there. But is he a magician?
But is he a magician? Also a good question, actually. Like, the number of times that scientists were or that magicians were more chemist than anything else, like from like olden times, is a lot of them.
That's true. I feel like in order to be a scientist, though, you have to be operating by the scientific process, which I never feel like he is. This is more a, like, you think of the stereotype of the witch in the woods, right? Who's like, she has all of these things that she doesn't know how they work or why they work. She just knows that they work.
Yeah.
And so, like, you go to her if you need some potion for some magic thing that has happened, right? That's what this guy feels like to me. He doesn't make these potions because he's like experimenting with them. He makes them because he knows exactly what they do if he makes them the right way, and he doesn't seem to care whether or not it's a like he doesn't care to look into it. He doesn't care to look into what builds it up.
Almost always with like the Witch in the Wood story, you see them mess up once or twice. Like, oh, like you get the dialogue or you get the vibe of, oh, this was a mistake, oh well, or this was the vibe that I was trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
The opening scene is him being very methodical about what he's introducing to the ocean. He has a like very specific solution to all of the problems, and he can replicate it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's closer to scientist, and we don't see the scientific method because he's already completed all the stuff that he wants to determine.
Maybe. I don't know. Like there's enough of it where I'm like, and maybe it's the fact that he's brewing potions.
Yeah.
Like that could very well be part of.
Now potions are, what do those do, man? Anytime anyone makes a potion, what's it doing?
Well, if it's a healing potion, it heals you. If it's a potion of flight, then it allows you to fly. If it's a invisibility potion, it makes you invisible. If it's a potion of
like the invisibility one, like shouldn't it make the bottle invisible too? Like does it only react to the internal mechanisms of a person?
So I feel like this is getting into the weeds a little bit. I will answer your question though. My understanding is that all of these potions are basically just liquid in a bottle until they are used by drinking them.
Yeah, ingested in some way. Which implies a chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Or a life force reaction.
I mean, you can say the same thing about like water, right? Like
True.
Water in the body is not water anymore.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it is, but it really isn't.
It's doing more stuff than the water that's in a bottle.
Right, and you can't just extract water from a human being.
Yes, you can. They do it in Dune.
Okay, yeah, in Dune. Where they perfected the art with, and are required to use a still.
Boil a person, and then take the evaporation from the person, put it into.
You can do the same thing with Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you can do it with any liquid.
I know.
Mostly any liquid.
That's my point. That doesn't mean that Coca-Cola is water, though.
Coca-Cola is water.
Coca-Cola has some water in it. Coca-Cola is not water.
Oh, we did it again, Connor.
What?
One, we started immediately disagreeing about the magic system. And two, we're on Coca-Cola when this is a movie podcast.
Ponyo, brought to you by Coca-Cola.
No, don't do that. We're not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yet.
Yeah.
If we start shilling for them now, then maybe they'll sponsor us.
Ponyo is red. And there's a lot of red-white on her, so works well. Basically the same thing.
She could kick back with an ice-cold Coca-Cola on her days on the land.
On the land. I'm glad there wasn't like a curse in this one. Except for the fact that the moon was drawing ever closer.
That's not a curse, that's Majora's Mask. Have you played Majora's Mask?
I have not played Majora's Mask.
Okay.
I know what it is, though.
Oh, okay.
So that's good.
Yeah. Anyway. Zelda reference.
Awesome. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, okay, I can go with Magician. That's actually pretty fine with me. Like,
and I can go with Scientist, too.
I was going to go closer to Chemist, actually.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how to make this weird elixir thing that can power that distills the power of the ocean.
Also, we see him drinking these potions in order to have magical powers.
Be magic, exactly. Like he refers to himself as no longer human, though he has all resemblance of a human and still needs oxygen.
Yeah. But he also can't walk on dry land without drying out.
Yeah, exactly. So he's getting that nice best of both worlds, or worst of both worlds.
I am leaning more and more towards Wizard the more I think about this.
Yeah, I'm down with Wizard.
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue with this one.
That said, this movie, magic is very, very soft.
Very soft. It's
Um,
beautifully soft.
yeah, and I actually appreciate it again because it's given we're given enough concrete pieces to understand what's happening,
Yes.
um, but not so many that we really. I don't think anyone can say like, "Oh yeah, I grasped the magic of this movie."
Yeah, I feel like
The closest you get is like there is a cost
Mm-hmm.
for Ponyo using magic, and it's that
Mhm.
she reverts closer to her fish form. Uh, you see all of her fingers disappear, and she turns into the three-fingered chicken girl. And her face turns more fish-like and all that kind of stuff.
I was thinking she looks like a frog.
um, and so like there's that. She gets tired from using the magic, especially when it's on big things. Um, but like how the water things work, no one really knows.
No idea.
Um, we're still like, even though we probably get more explanation about the well and all of that than just about any of the other magic in this movie, it is not super
We
clear.
don't know why.
We just know this is the eye of the world.
Yes.
At the end of the eye of the world, where they go in and it's just described as a pool of power, and it's like, okay, so she draws on the pool of power and then has
And
the
then
power.
Has the power. Nice and easy. Very simple, straightforward magic system. I'm sure that there is like the reason I said scientist is there is a hint that behind all of the magic there is likely a system.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know it, and we don't know enough of it that it's soft now. Like it's like, oh, the magic itself doesn't have power. It's always the people wielding it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it's closer to hard in my heart than it is to soft, but we don't know how it works.
That's fair.
No clue.
Which, according to the laws of Sanderson, which are where the sliding scale of hard and soft magic come from,
Yeah,
it would make it a soft magic.
I'm not even going to argue on this one.
Because your audience does not have a grasp on it enough to know what it is.
Nope.
Again, same
Unlike
thing.
Castle.
Same thing with Gandalf and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we don't really know until you read the Silmarillion.
Oh, nice.
And it kind of
hard magic system.
Right.
I need to go read the Silmarillion. It's still just one that I've got to go do.
I am never sure whether I should recommend people read the Silmarillion or not. Because on one hand, there is just so much great stuff in there.
Is this similar to you not wanting to recommend Berserk? Or is this...
No. No. Again, my issue with Berserk is I broadly recommend it to everyone. Individually, I'm never going to recommend it, though.
Yeah.
Silmarillion, I imagine there are some people out there where I'm like, you should read this.
Yeah.
I'm not friends with a lot of those people, not because I'm unwilling, but because we just don't generally vibe.
I like knowing all the magic systems in the history, so I probably would like it.
Yeah, that's possible. There is not enough of a narrative through line for me.
It's like just a description.
It reads kind of like a book of mythology.
Yeah.
But the mythology is super variable on how interesting and useful it is to understanding the world. Yeah, it's a different book for sure.
That's cool. So,
but it's not Ponyo.
It's still not Ponyo. So Ponyo is lovely. Characters are great.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mom a lot, except for she's very reckless. But it's cool to see her contrasted with the dad, who's probably likely more down to earth.
Yeah.
I mean, on the water.
From what we see, he is very like even-tempered and level-headed. Also, probably a little callous. Again, like I think, like we see that they have a reasonable house and a view that they could definitely sell the house for
Ooh,
a different place.
that's such a good view.
I don't think we're supposed to read too much into the view. That said, like it looks like they're doing okay.
Yeah.
At the very least. And he still picks up another shift, and it's like, come on, man, you can come home.
Exactly.
You should be able to. I seriously think that it had more to do with trying to characterize the mom. It was the equivalent of fridging without necessarily having the same like dark emotional impact.
Yeah. Dad's alive. That's nice, at least.
Right, yeah. Like, I think the idea was, okay, we're going to use this dad to characterize the mom and the son. And we don't really need to flesh out his character because he's not in this story. So,
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Completely. I also, like, there's two sets of parents in this. And I always want to draw some sort of simile between things that are of parallel nature.
So Ponyo's dad and I want to say his name's Sasuke, but I'm not sure.
It's I think we say it differently than Sasuke, but it's Sasuke.
Okay, but his mom and Ponyo's dad are both the ones that are like present in the story,
exactly. Present
and
in
like
the story, and like kind of like they're conflicted because maybe foily, but they're at a conflict because even though they're both the most present in these situations, Ponyo's dad is very controlling and not very nurturing. But like very generally controlled. Like he's a little scattered, but generally controlled, whereas the mom is very nurturing but also drives like a maniac at all times, endangering herself and others always. I don't know why that's important, but it is.
I don't know either.
Like she's very passionate and she's very like outspoken and nurturing, and then Ponyo's mom is very nurturing, not very outspoken, kind of like the dad, who is maybe more callous but also very soft-spoken. I don't know, man. That's all I got.
We also were talking about this, and Ponyo is a long lost relative of
both of our wives.
Yeah, of our wives.
Goodness gracious. They both have an obsession with ham. Like, they love ham so much. And their exuberance about things.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic and endearing.
And their ability to fall asleep on accident on command.
Yes, on accident on command. Like, if my wife is not distracting herself at bedtime, she's asleep.
Yeah. I have probably told you there have been times when I am in the middle of a conversation with my wife and I wait for a response, and the response is a snore.
Yes. Yep. And mine is like we finish conversation, like the conversation finishes, but she's asleep immediately after, and I'm awake for a little bit longer. And when I like move over, she's like, "Wait, did we say we could go to sleep?" And it's so cute.
Trinity will wake up and be like, "You were in the middle of saying something," and I'm like, "I don't remember what it is anymore."
Yeah, we're going to sleep now. Like, train's passed. It's lovely.
Yeah.
Though I think their dedication to ham is the defining feature.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And ham is wonderful.
Ham! It's still just something that's just yelled in both of our, at least my household.
Yeah, it's not really yelled in mine, but
nice.
We also don't have ham very often, so.
Yeah. We don't either. I just find excuses to yell ham, and then Micaiah echoes. Such a good time.
Yeah. This movie does kind of manage to capture what makes Ghibli feel magical, though.
Absolutely, completely agree.
And I think that's part of it for me. Like, it's one of the few movies that actually like makes me feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, like, all of these other ones are great movies, but they don't really make me feel like I've gone into a magical world necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
There are
This one
moments
specifically is very magical.
Yeah. There are moments in Totoro, there are moments in Kiki's.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments in Castle of the Sky that make me feel that.
And then you get a little bit overwhelmed with the magic in Howl's.
I get frustrated with the magic in Howl's.
Yes, exactly.
And I am content to analyze from afar with Princess Mononoke.
Totally.
Because I don't necessarily feel it as... Again, there are some moments. So, like, the tree spirits
Totally
feel magical to me. The Great Spirit, when it is walking around, feels magical to me. But anytime we're talking with the gods or, you know, on Lady Eboshi's island, I'm like, okay, the magic is over there.
It's over there, not here. Exactly. No, this one does a really good job of introducing the magic into real life and into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Does a really, really good job there. Totally agree.
Yeah.
That's lovely. As for plot, it is just Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Totally correct.
With the exception of her voice is not stolen.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it is.
And
because it makes for all of the best comedy in the movie.
It does so much. Oh my goodness.
And a lot of the plucking at the heartstrings that this movie does as well.
Yeah.
I've never seen the original Japanese version because it did not come with these discs.
Dang.
But the actress who did the voice for Ponyo did an incredible job of conveying the feeling and emotion of all of these statements.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Ugh, I cannot wait. At some point we'll see it.
The Japanese version?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully. I gotta find a theater that is showing these, because I know one that used to do it, and it closed down this last year. It was my favorite theater in Denver.
That's so sad. Yeah. Oof.
But it was an old theater, and lots of people stopped going because of pandemic stuff and all that. So
and they didn't come back.
Yep.
That's so sad. Oof.
They used to do midnight movies, which is
it
was actually the first theater I went to when I moved to Denver.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I went and saw Clockwork Orange there, which I don't know if I've told you. Watching that with an audience, completely different experience than watching it by yourself.
I can imagine. I've only heard things about Clockwork Orange.
It's horrifying. What I realized when watching it with an audience was that it's also hilarious. There is so much great comedy put into that movie. And it's just, it feels so strange to watch it surrounded by other people.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Wild experience.
That's so cool. I think the only, the main nitpick technically for me was the rushing of the plot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Gets this magical well of power that isn't explained exceptionally well, and now she has the ability to control the distance of Earth and the Moon. And that is terrifying to me as a space enthusiast. And the fact that the moon got here so quickly, that thing is moving. Okay? It takes us days and days, sometimes weeks, to get from here to the moon. All right? It is not an easy feat.
It doesn't take me that long to get to the moon. You know why? Because I don't go to the moon.
Yeah, good, because you don't want to go to space. But the idea of it, she got the power, and at the same time caused a tsunami, and also the moon's basically here now, is
did get the sense that the power is waning for her. So she pulls all of the magic from the well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is all speculation. But she pulls the magic from the well. And then huge burst of magic,
yes.
right?
Huge burst.
Which is why suddenly there is water everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is that's when she pulls the moon really, really hard.
Yeah.
To Earth because yeah, and actually, so it's still
what you do is you'd slow the moon down because then it gets pulled more into Earth's gravitational field. If you like add more energy to the moon, you'll push it further away. Because how orbits work is they're always falling towards you, and if it has more speed, it goes farther away from you.
Okay, but if you're pulling something toward you that already has an orbit, are you not going to slow it down as well?
There's no friction in the air, so
okay. You're just I'm not talking about the air.
I know you're just adding more gravitational pull. So yeah, I guess you maybe would.
Yeah.
Let me see, because you're probably right. Yeah. You're increasing gravity though. You're increasing gravity for one orbital body.
I am willing to accept that.
I don't like it.
Trenton, aren't you the one that's all like, oh, I love magic and I love it even when it doesn't make any sense?
Until it hits space. As soon as it hits space and these weird orbital bodies and cosmic things that should just destroy someone, like the amount of sadness that Ponyo will be in after pulling on the moon. She's to the moon by that point, based off of the laws of physics.
It's magic. It doesn't obey the laws of physics.
Liam Neeson did say that she ripped a hole in space-time.
Yeah.
So I'll accept more of it because they did say those words specifically. And I don't know what that means. The closest you can do with that is a black hole. So she caused a black hole? Great. Whatever.
Cool.
For a second, pulled the moon towards us? Cool.
I don't think she caused a black hole. I think she was the black hole in this scenario.
Then we're all dead.
It was a small black hole.
Size of the black hole doesn't matter that much.
It matters a little bit, though.
It does matter a little bit. Yeah.
Like a pinpoint black hole is very different than...
Immediately goes away with Hawking radiation. But a black hole the size of a nickel destroys the planet.
Okay, so she's at dime level.
Destroys the planet. Love those. Good times. I can go and put my sources in the comments if anyone's interested. Because that's great.
Oh my goodness.
Where did we go? Where are we going?
I don't know. This one feels like it's a little off track.
Yeah, like there really isn't a lot to talk about Ponyo. Like there's some themes. Family's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a slight nature conservation one because the dad is really focused. The Ponyo's dad is really focused on nature preservation.
Yeah. But there is also the other side of it shown where it's like the first thing Ponyo encounters when she gets up is they're dredging the ocean so that they can pull trash out of it. Like
exactly.
So it's not necessarily humans are all terrible and are polluting everything, kind of like Princess Mononoke would do.
Exactly. Or the first one, Natsuko, the Valley of the Wind.
Yeah. Yeah, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is probably the most black and white with it. Princess Mononoke was humans are all bad and they're all polluting everything, but also they're doing it because they have to.
Yeah, it's their nature.
Right. Well, it's not even that it's just their nature. It's that if we want to see humankind flourish, then it's the natural thing that has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
One is the consequence of the other.
Yeah, exactly. The byproduct of us.
And this one, despite the fact that it is pretty subtle, is more of a like, hey, humans do this and it sucks, but also they're trying to clean up after themselves and take care of things, so like it's not all bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I am really unsure of what to make of Miyazaki's actual stance at this point, if it's changed throughout his life.
I think it has changed throughout his life.
You think?
That's what I'm thinking, is he's gotten more nuanced as time's gone on.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron yet, though, so...
thinking Heron and his boy, and I'm like, that's not right. I've seen the movie, and that's not a good description. I have one more. I was just making the connection. There are different like manifestations of love in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a very pivotal theme to it. Like, all of the parents kind of show a different kind of love, and so does Sasuke and Ponyo, which I think is just very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, and the dad, normally whenever you have, in a Miyazaki movie, if the dad starts a certain way, he won't really change.
Yeah.
And especially if just a person starts a specific way, they won't really change. But
yeah,
he does. His viewpoint changes pretty strongly from the beginning, where he's trying very much to force his daughter into the form that he would like, to being willing and open to like letting her go.
Yeah. I mean, I will say most of the changes are either somebody learning something about themselves or something like that. Or it's a I would say actually that's most of it.
Yeah.
It's people learning things about themselves
Changing.
and changing because of that. This is one of the only ones where we see someone who has a fundamental flaw almost that they have to overcome.
Yeah.
And changing because of that.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Otherwise, can't really place any themes. Again, animation is gorgeous in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the anime, like, this is one of those movies that I'm like, just watch it for the animation alone.
Exactly.
Like, I do thoroughly enjoy the story. I think the themes, because of the way they're executed, speak to me quite a bit.
Yeah.
But watch this movie for the animation alone, and there's no way you're going to be disappointed. Like,
No.
it is very, very well done.
There are fewer like sweeping scenery shots in this one. Almost all of the main scenes are action.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, this is one of those movies that gives me the like actual vibes of being in a seaside town.
Yeah.
Which, if you can make that kind of location vibrant for me,
Yeah.
then that does a lot of the legwork, and that's probably another
Absolutely.
reason why I really like this movie.
It does a really good job of drawing into setting.
Yeah. So, anyway, Ponyo is a thumbs up from me.
Would agree. Thumbs up from me as well. Please watch it.
Yeah. It's not Lupin the Third.
Very few things are Lupin the Third. Hey, I like Lupin the You wish yours was over here so you could do that. Very bottom of F tier, says Connor. I'm totally, if there's one of these that isn't full, I'm moving it up.
All right. We got to put something in here.
That's what you said about the F tier. I don't know about it, man.
Well,
is there going to be much worse than Porco Rosso at this point?
I don't know. I haven't seen The Boy and the Heron.
That's true. You haven't seen The Boy and the Heron.
Maybe I'll hate it.
Maybe you'll hate it.
Yeah. It did steal the best picture or best animated feature from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh.
Or Across the Spider-Verse? Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah.
That's gross.
That was one where everybody went, Miyazaki hasn't gotten it so far, and this is probably his actual last film.
So we should have it. But this wasn't
such a
good movie. Oh!
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't worry about it. Except for we do.
Yeah. Anyway.
Awesome. Have anything else here? What are we watching next week?
We are watching The Wind Rises.
Nice. I've heard only good things about this, mainly from you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the only one who's seen it, and I know that that's not the case. But I don't think I've ever had a conversation with somebody about this, except when I sat them down to watch it with me.
Nice. I'm excited to have you sit me down to watch it with you and then have a conversation about it.
The streak continues.
The streak continues.
Yeah.
Good times. I have seen Ponyo before, so that's good at least.
Yeah. Well, you've seen most of these.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of these.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, how do we end this?